Let me share my experience with you at the new Aqua Safari Resort. You're greeted by warm smiles and introduced to your 24-hour butler who already has your itinerary sorted. Enjoy water sports activities like jet ski rides, kayaking, water sliding, flyboarding, and casting and fishing. You can even have your lunch here on the boat cruise. Experience horseback riding, tennis, and some golfing amongst a host of other activities. Let the tour guides take you through the sceneries of the Volta River, the mangrove forest, the friendliness of the animals, local and exotic birds, while you pet and feed them. You can have this large space for your conferences, corporate retreats, and so many activities as part of the package. We chose to have our breakfast with a beautiful sunrise right in front of our cabin. We had an amazing experience, and I can't wait to return for more.
Visit Aqua Safari Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
As you can see.
This advert has been vetted and approved by...
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. And with me on the show this morning, I have Erica Mwakuchum, who is the government spokesperson, and also the Honorable Roxy Nelson, the former Member of Parliament for South Dai constituency. There are two issues we'll look at before we end the show. One has to do with health, the other education. So, with the issue on health, you remember there was the first kidney transplant by the Kolebu Teaching Hospital sometime last year. Very successful one. And then the issue of dialysis and all that. Then the issue of the closure of the Renal unit to 4 million Ghana cedis. And we later found out that as many as 17 people lost their lives due to the closure and all that. Now, there's a story on page 3 of the Informer newspaper. Kidney Transplant Center ready this year. First Sky Kolebu project on course, group chairman assures. And the executive chairman of First Sky Group, Eric Sedi Kotoche, has assured that a kidney transplant center earmarked for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital will be ready by end of this year, 2024. According to him, a joint committee comprising of teams from his outfit and Kolebu will continue to meet and finalize the modalities towards the construction of the center. Quote, Mr. Chairman, our desire and commitment to help the Kolebu Teaching Hospital establish a kidney transplant center is still on course. A joint working committee from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and the First Sky Group has been working tirelessly to see to the takeoff and completion of the project by the end of 2024. And touching on some of the philanthropic activities, it said that a fully sponsored kidney transplants executed primarily by a team of Ghanaian specialists. The exercise, which was very successful, these were all done in Ghana by Ghanaian medical professionals. To date, their support for free dialysis for the more than 300 patients since they took on that responsibility in 2016 is more than 32 million Ghana cedis. And it says, we don't intend to give up until the terminal solution, which is the establishment of a kidney transplant center, is completed. And the Dr. Boema, who is the head of neurology or something, yes, he's my doctor. Okay. Now, he also spoke about this particular issue. And the fact that...
In the story.
No.
Okay.
I was at the event.
Okay.
Okay. And the fact that the people that the company pays for, First Sky pays for, constitutes about 30% of the registered dialysis patients in Ghana. The total of registered dialysis patients in Ghana, those who go to Kolebu constitutes about 30%. And that's what First Sky actually pays for. And now there is the kidney transplant center. They've done the first one. They're about doing the second one in terms of the transplant. Now, there is also the issue of apparently we do not have any legislation on organ harvesting and all those things. And so, yes, and so they're working on a bill as well, which is also being spearheaded by this company, which will then come to Parliament so that we can have regulations on organ harvesting and transplant. Because apparently, both those who are alive and dead, the organs can be useful, whether the person is alive or dead. And so that is also being worked on. And then we can have the full center, maybe this year. And so we can then save people all the hassle. I'm told that it costs in excess of $20,000 to go to, say, India to go and get a transplant. And for that reason, a lot of people are unable to do that. So the kidney transplant center, we're told, will be ready this year. And it's all part of the corporate social responsibility of a company. And when I hear such stories, I'm touched because this is a private person's money. They could have used the money on anything that they wanted. But and they showed videos of some of the people who benefit from this, and you should hear the testimonies and how, you know, there's and even the Kolebu professionals themselves, you know, Dr. Boema and some of the nurses and others, you hear them speak about this.
Randy,
yes.
I think that the First Sky Group, right? I always believe that these are some of the stories that should take center stage. You know what I'm saying? And use it as a way of actually encouraging a lot more entities to be up and do when it comes to corporate
It's actually
social,
nephrology.
Yeah.
Okay.
The corporate social responsibility.
The Achimota school people just...
They corrected it. Right. So I think that we need to commend the First Sky Group and also probably highlight what it is that they are doing so that it would encourage a lot more other entities to do so. Then it's also a good thing that they're actually looking beyond just the support, but looking at something that's a lot more long-term and then sustainable. I like the idea of the organ transplant legislation as well that is going to Parliament. And I feel that Parliament should probably place a lot more emphasis on that. It would save a lot of lives. It would also be a way of ensuring that people who will still be alive to contribute to the development of this country would not be lost by virtue of the fact that they didn't get an opportunity. I mean, of course, we all would go to our maker one day, but if there's an opportunity to save a life, I think that we should be able to do that. These are some of the things that, for honestly speaking, I'm open to. You know, in other parts of the world, if you go to the doctors, they will actually give you a form to fill and ask if you're going to sign up for your organs to be harvested when you die or when you get involved in an accident or that matter. And if you go on social media and other platforms, there are so many touching stories. There's a story of a young black boy who was given the heart of a white girl. And I think on Father's Day, the guy actually invited the father of the lady that they had was transplanted to him to actually meet and gave him a stethoscope to actually hear the heart beating of his daughter in his chest. I mean, these are real life stories, and I think that we can push a lot more when it comes to these things. I mean, with the advent of technology and advancement of, medicine. I mean, there are some fantastic medical practitioners in this country, you know, and they're doing an awesome job.
As part of this, one of the things that we were also told is that the company is also financing the specialist training of health professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is, yes, in that area, and that's to make sure that when the center is open, we also have requisitely qualified medical professionals.
And so we are producing a lot of these practitioners. Of course, every time we talk about the ones that would leave the shores of this country to go and seek also greener pasture, but the others who are also contributing their quota. Now, it brings into play the whole conversation around even CSR. And I feel that, again, I mean, Roxanne, that's what today I'm on you. Even the CSR needs some kind of proper legislation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I've always maintained,
yes.
I've always maintained that, you know, $1 in a public purse or a CD by Ghanaians, right? Just without all the, I mean, allegations of corruption and everything. Sometimes it's just the administrative process alone. By the time it goes into the national kitty, to take that CD out of the kitty, it becomes 70 pesos just by going through administrative process.
CSR is one of the areas that.
Just a history.
It's one of the areas that I've covered in my upcoming book.
Yeah, I'll share my.
I wanted to release the book to coincide with my birthday.
I'll share my.
I couldn't, so in the course of the year, I would release it.
I'll share my research with you as well. And you realize,
I'll be happy to have
right.
it.
And you realize that, you know, sometimes you see some of these things are very easy because they are best practices elsewhere. I'll use an example: a company like MTN. So you have MTN decide to build, let's say, a 6-unit classroom block. Yeah. And they're able to deliver it on time. They're able to, you understand what I'm saying? Cost efficient and everything. Now, if you decide that you want to legislate CSR, for example, you can say that, okay, by the beginning of every year, you have certain things that government wants to do. As for the people, they don't care who is funded it or where it's coming from. The moment they find that intervention comes, they will use it. And then you can now activate either a tax rebate or whatever. So even this whole thing about giving tax rebates to companies that come into this country and the brouhaha and the controversies that come with it can all be situated within like a broader CSR strategy, right? So that government becomes more efficient in being able to, collecting whatever it's able to collect. But then as part of the process, right, the corporate Ghana, right, are able to also contribute. Yeah, because they're doing it.
So the point you're making is that, or one of the points you're making is that same way we seek to incentivize companies to invest in particular areas or in a country by giving all those tax rebates and others. Within the context that we're having this discussion, you could also then decide that for companies that may be going to areas like this, these are the kind of tax rebates or exemptions and others that
and what it means is that you're activating like
in fact you're influencing CSR into certain directions,
right? And you're able to actually lean on their corporate governance structures and their efficiencies to deliver public goods. Right? So it's a win-win situation where, for me, I think that there are best practices elsewhere. There are things that we can glean from and all of that. Right. So I'll share my paper with you.
I'll be glad to.
And then we'll also.
Doc, thank you very much. You see, let me say this. First Sky and a few locally owned companies, or Ghanaian-owned companies, are doing marvelously well for this country in their respective business areas. And I've known of First Sky for some time, but it was during this water floods that I saw the impact of his work and some other companies that I want to mention and commend. As we speak, he's building low-cost housing for some of the flood victims in Mepe and Bato. And if you see the structure, the speed, and the efficiency with which it's been built, they've done the first phase, they are moving to the second phase. It's remarkable. And that is, like we are saying, that is part of his corporate social responsibility to bring this intervention to the people. Apparently, this Kolebu matter engaged Parliament. The minority, we raised it. It became topical. The minister came to answer questions. It was actually a statement read by my senior Akando, raising the issues of the dialysis center. So Speaker directed the minister to come and address the House and the nation on the issue. He came to talk plenty. Excuse my language, but he came to talk plenty and assured the House that the finance minister has taken the responsibility to pay the 4 million Ghana cedis, which was the supposed outstanding debts, why the center couldn't run at the rate at which they were running. So they decided to increase the fees, if you recall, Doc. Now, apparently, finance minister, I just got to know about a week ago that 4 million has not been paid by the finance ministry.
Huh?
That 4 million, it's not been paid. And I'm making this matter public. They shouldn't go and make any payments and backdate the date of payment because they haven't paid. So again, First Sky had to go in and make some payments for the center to open again. So I'm not surprised that this program was organized to, as it were, throw light on some other interventions that he's making. When I did my checks, First Sky has been paying before the brouhaha occurred, getting to the latter part of last year. But I'm told that as of this January, Finance Ministry has not brought the 4 million. A private entity had to again intervene for this to be done. It's not right to give assurance to Parliament that payment that was supposed to be expeditiously made to the center so the center could not increase the fees as they desired to do at the time, for people to have some comfort. That intervention hasn't happened. Look, he and his brother, the one, the
George,
owner of, yes,
construction
ambassadors.
Combined, they are actually executing, they are building.
Yes,
it's being financed by First Sky,
yes,
but construction ambassadors are building.
Yes. So that's the construction wing.
No, it's a different
separate
company.
Yes.
They are brothers,
but they collaborate. That's the point I want to make. These two companies, or these two brothers
they
combined,
built this.
Yes, I see.
This property.
Yes. These two brothers combined, they've employed in excess of 10,000 Ghanaians. And that is remarkable. Vota Serene, the hotel, Serene Insurance, First Sky as a construction company, and construction ambassadors, they're doing great work. Regarding the corporates, so they are entities we should protect.
Look, and nobody should get me wrong. It's not a government thing or whatever. But to be honest, there were hundreds of individuals and companies that came to the aid of the flood victims.
Yeah.
But I keep asking myself that, and I really appreciate, and I believe that almost every Ghanaian appreciates what every single person contributed and company contributed to this thing. But I keep asking myself, if the First Sky Group, construction ambassadors, engineers and planners had not done the things that they did in this crisis, what would have happened? As we speak,
and the crisis is still ongoing.
Yes, as we speak today, the group of how many ministers that was set up and all that, till today, we're in January, mid-January.
No report.
So I keep,
no briefing.
I keep asking myself that for all the people whose plight has been alleviated up to a point, what would have happened to all these people? What would have happened to all these people? The displaced people, the whatever. What would have happened? If all these persons and companies, especially First Sky, construction ambassadors, engineers and planners, had not gone in there, what would have happened?
Yeah. And let me indicate.
And these are very difficult times for
private
companies,
business.
private businesses in Ghana.
Yes, I agree. And
the revelation you just made about this 4 million. I mean, I sat there and I said, like, for the life of me, that a renal center at Ghana's #1 hospital, Kolebu, could be shut down because of 4 million Ghana cedis. 4 million Ghana cedis.
To the extent that the mother ministry can't find the money.
4 million Ghana cedis.
He has to take Ministry of Finance.
And because of that, 17 people or 19 people will lose their lives.
Yeah. Now, so the point is that the issue of corporate social responsibility is a very key one. And let me commend my senior and brother, majority whip. He came out with the idea. So he and I and a couple of others, we brought a private members motion.
Here is whipping people in his constituency.
Whipping.
It's whipping posters.
Okay. Now I
haven't seen him in a long while.
He's busy. You know the primary is, if you play with it, fire will catch you. Fire will burn you. So, here now we came out with a private members motion.
Okay.
To get the House to adopt a common, to adopt our position. To get the House, to get a committee to, as it were, come up with a report that will lead to a private members legislation on corporate social responsibility. We got the buy-in from nearly everyone. But I don't know what happened to today. He's not able to tell me. He being with me and some others from his side and my side. Motion admitted, motion moved, motion competently contributed to. When it got to adoption, we were miraculously defeated.
Oh.
Yes. And I'll say this, and I'm saying this, and leader knows. And I speak of the Honorable Chairman Zabunzu. Initially, he was for it. Contributed fantastically. Then the adoption was deferred to another day. On the day of the adoption, we lost the motion. It was voted against. He changed his mind suddenly, and so we just lost the motion. So our desire to have a private members bill got defeated. So I told Anon that, well, I know the elections he's busy. When we are done, when we come back after the 30th, we'll be back on the 30th if the day doesn't change. He and I will move straight to a private members bill and submit it to Speaker. That's all we'll do. We won't go through motions again. Because you see, I agree that there has to be a legal regime covering how, even if no private entities, state corporations use public funds in the supposed name of corporate social responsibility, because we are losing a lot of public money through that valve. Somebody will give money that we are doing tree planting, and money is given. How the seedlings are monitored in the wild, how they are maintained until they attain some level of maturity, nobody knows. 1 million is gone tree planting, 2 million is gone green, all sorts of things. Cultural festival, 500,000. So we need that legal regime. And I like the way you link it with tax waivers. We are giving millions of Ghana cedis to entities that have just been established with no track record. Then we claim that they are here to invest and blah, blah, blah. Then we give them tax waivers. These are the companies we should be giving tax waivers to. Companies like this, companies like engineers and planners, companies like Despite, companies like CTFM, companies like Metro TV, who would mobilize resources when there are crises to go and intervene in the lives of the people. You understand me? So I think that I like the idea that we should link the legislative regime that will come should be linked to the conditions for tax waivers. Even though we have a Tax Waivers Act in place, we at the time of passing the legislation, we didn't avert our mind to corporate social responsibility. We would have used the opportunity to incorporate a whole portion of corporate social responsibility legislation into the law.
So that's a quick one. You know, even donations to your church,
yes,
to an orphanage,
yeah,
to all of those things.
yes.
I mean, in other jurisdictions, at the end of the year when you file your taxes, you indicate all of these.
We do that here.
No, yeah, but you see, so you need the support of GRA, for example, and all of those entities in one broad regime, so that people are aware that, oh, if I have a charity in my village, for example, an orphanage in my village, every year I support them this amount and all of that. It's a benefit of this and all that. And then once it comes into one big repository and then legislation, then you can start seeing, but people sometimes want to support. They want to even support other charities, for example, that are properly registered. And there's a track record and all of those things, so that we can get the development that you want. No, I mean, as for an ordinary citizen, they don't really care where the development is coming from. But so that then it takes away even from the burden on government. Government will now doing the heavy lifting, if you want to put it that way. Yeah.
All right. So just some two quick messages on the issues we discussed earlier. Just two quick ones, and then we can look at the so this one, the Venerable Austin Game. It says that if your panelists may answer the question of whether the BVD machines can fail during voting. If yes, will it not be prudent if we support the machines with indelible ink? That's what he puts out. And so Josh Fuga says, a brief history about voting on religious days in Ghana. He says 1996 was a Saturday, we voted. 2008 was a Sunday, we voted. 2012 was a Friday, we voted.
Muslim. I see the perspective.
Yes. So I guess the answer will be 2024 is a Saturday, we'll vote.
I recall the 96 one. They raised it. Yeah. The SDA raised it. But they didn't contest it. But they gave notice that before. So I recall, I think I was the national service person who had finished a computer Maulu school. So it was raised. But they didn't push it. They didn't push it, and they went through. Then the issue of, the Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
The decision not to participate in this civic responsibilities was also raised at the time.
Well, in their case, voting is not compulsory.
Yes.
So
no, it's not actually compulsory for anybody. Even the law. The law says.
I'm saying it's not compulsory. So in their case, nobody is compelling them to go and vote.
So I recall these two.
The only thing they must know is that if they don't vote,
it has consequences.
Yes, there are consequences.
They are willing to live within those.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe they are prepared to live within it.
Yeah. So Randy, let me quickly wind up by saying that we are very happy about the imminent opening of the center, the kidney center, the dialysis center.
That is a transplant center.
Transplant, okay, it's different from the dialysis center. So look at
the transplant gives you a permanent solution.
Yes.
Dialysis, you go like twice a week.
And they are managing.
But once you get a transplant done,
then you are just monitored.
And the cost of, like I said, we're told that it costs a minimum of $20,000 or $25,000 to go get a transplant.
Yes, I'm aware.
So yes, and when it's done here, I'm sure that the cost will be about
30%,
15% or 20%
of that. Yes. Then also, we need other centers. Look, our scanners whole teaching hospital, Trafalgar, there's no scanner.
When is this scanner? What do you mean?
MRI.
Yes.
The MRI machine.
Yes.
Oh, I showed Annie, you should still have it. I showed the data of dialysis machines across the regions of this country, the 16 regions. You'll be shocked. I showed that data sometime last year. I should still have it in the system.
You should revisit it because you see, a lot of people are dying because when they seek medical attention and the need for the scanning to be done timeously, and it's not available, and they have to travel all the way to Metropolitan.
That's it. You see it on your screen soon.
I have to get a copy of it.
Yeah, so where you see this is the regional distribution of functional dialysis centers and patients per million population in Ghana. So you see Greater Accra region, 5.4 million. And then you would see the number of machines there, the number of centers, 26. And the number of machines, 227. So it goes the region by region. So you will see that apart from Greater Accra, then Ashanti is next with 7. From there, you find all the regions, 1. Bono is to 1. 1. There's one that is 0.
Yeah, that's
they don't even
2 regions below Volta.
Yes. Upper East.
How is that?
Upper East is 0. You see, Western, you have 2. Volta, you have 3. Northern region, 5. Eastern region, 8. Central region, 10. Bono, 2. Bono East, 3. Ashanti, 39. Greater Accra, 227. These are the machines, and then the first column is about the centers.
Yes.
So as for Upper East, no center, no machine. Western region, 1 center, 2 machines. Volta, 1 center, 3 machines. Northern region, 1 center, 5 machines. Eastern region, 1 center, 8 machines. Central region, 1 center, 10 machines. And then you see the number of patients.
Yes.
So you see the number of the population, and then the number of centers and machines that are available to the people. Now, I told you that there is data unregistered.
Yeah.
So if you take like the first kind of patients who they take care of Kolebu, they constitute 30% of national registered.
Yes.
What it means is that because of the issue of cost, there are those who don't register at all because they cannot go and pay that 400 cedis per session.
They are outside of the data.
Yes, most are outside. Most are outside because they cannot afford even the 400 cedis per session. And 400 cedis per session is no joke. So if you have to do 2 sessions in a week and therefore 8 sessions in a month, 400 by 8, that's 3,200 cedis.
And Randy, these are the things we should spend our resources on, not on National Cathedral. not on National Cathedral.
So let's move on to education. Yes. Let's move on to education.
We're having thoughts today. So,
let's move on to education.
A whole region, there's no machine.
Let's move on to education. Now, the issue of review of a policy. One of the fundamental reasons, and if any of you disagree with me, you can raise it, of a policy, is to first of all find out whether the objectives of that policy are being met as far as the implementation of the policy is concerned. Now, why do I raise this issue? When we take free SHS, financial constraints was considered as a reason
for implementing.
The most important reason, the reason for having free SHS, and that financing had become a barrier for students entering it. And I kept wondering why we had not done a review in finding out how come, although we have implemented a free SHS, you still have a lot of people not taking advantage of that to enter secondary school. To find out whether indeed, beyond the issue of finance, there are many, many other issues that we ought to tackle. Or if whatever is happening does not even deal with the issue of financing, and that is only dealing with it partly. Why am I raising all these issues? The Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools in the Western North region states that about 137,000 of fresh senior high school students are yet to report to school despite gaining admission. Now, charts bemoans that all those schools reopened for fresh SHS students on December 4, 2023. A little over half of the total candidates placed in schools in the Western North region are yet to report to their respective schools due to financial challenges faced by their parents, most of whom are cocoa farmers. The president of CHAS in the Western region, Nana Amoa-Mankwai, expressed concern about the situation. Quote, as we speak, in a number of the schools, those who have reported are just a little above half of the number placed, and that is our concern. The Western Regional Director of Education gave an update that about 137,000 students have not taken up their admissions yet. According to them, they are facing financial challenges. He urged the fresh students to ignore the requirements on the prospectus and report to school, as provisions have been made by the government for a smooth academic session. Says a good number of the schools have mattresses, so we just want them to come. They should not think about items on the prospectus. So long as they can get a towel and a sponge, they should just come. They don't have to get everything on the prospectus before they come. Prospectus, other expenses incurred by parents outweigh government spending. A study conducted by Africa Education Watch, an educational civil society organization, has revealed that expenses on prospectuses and other items by parents outweigh the cost incurred by the government under the free senior high school program. The education think tank stated that parents spent 2,477 cedis on prospectus for their awards in boarding schools, and an additional 4,000 cedis on other personal items, including 60% on provisions, 10% on transport, 10% on books, 10% on upkeep, and 10% on personal effects like toiletries, sanitary pad, among others, during the 2022-2023 academic year. There was another story that also sources the Parent Teachers Association, the National Council, that also speaks about the cost inherent in a free SHS that were not anticipated, but which has become a reality. And this is why I raised the issue. So if you look at this story from the GES's own perspective, they believe that 137,000 out of 500,000 have not reported to school, and the reason is financial.
Economic.
Yes, and so that's why I raised the issue of review and why we review policies. Eric.
Well, I mean, there's some data or information that's been provided. Others too, probably the report itself cannot capture everything. It can also be the case that, I mean, some students are given admissions all right, and they still would go to other schools. you understand? So sometimes they will not report to the school that
the only thing
they will find.
The only thing is that the global data will reflect
yes. Data on. Right, and so maybe, I mean, this is in relation to Western North, you said, or Western region?
No, Western North, but the 137 is a nationwide.
Yes. Yeah, you know,
national
figure. And so we would have to probably interrogate that a lot more to find out. But I mean, I think that this whole conversation around free SHS, for me, is one of those things that I feel that we can always discuss without the politics of it.
Yeah.
Right? The truth of the matter is that it can never be absolutely free that a parent will not contribute to the child going to school. Right? But then you can also take away even the contribution of government, and then just imagine the numbers. If you are even saying that as we speak, still 137,000 are finding it difficult to enter by virtue of the fact that they're having financial constraints, right? And so we can have those conversations. That's why I always say that you can always drill down to specifics. That, okay, on this particular issue, when it comes to free SHS, these are the things that we can do to enhance the program and ensure that the level of or the quality of education that being given to these kids actually will be enhanced, so that we can deal with these challenges. Because the truth of the matter is that even prior to the free SHS, you know, some of these issues that we are talking about, we complain about over the time, are things that still prevailed, right? And so for me, sometimes I think that I'm being a little bit controversial on this one. Sometimes we even, because of free SHS, have actually given almost some kind of reprieve to the GES and the managers of the whole sector, right, to deal with the fundamental issues. So it's almost every challenge that we are facing within the secondary school or the second cycle structure is as a result of free SHS, which is not true. You understand what I'm saying? Because some of these challenges, way before the advent of free SHS, every year before school will start, you'll get a commentary or a communique coming from CHAS. Am I lying? You understand what I'm saying? And you can go and read communications that come from CHAS and all the other bodies, it's either it's NAGRAT or NAT or whatever, and it's the same challenges, right? So I feel that we can celebrate the benefits and the positive impact of free SHS and still deal concurrently with the challenges, because parents would always have to, one way or the other, contribute to the kids going to school. But hitherto, a large chunk of Ghanaian kids were not getting an opportunity to even enter the school by virtue of the fact that immediately they go through the basic cycle, the parents will say, there's no money, you have to go and look for something else to do, right? And we can also attest to the fact that in terms of enrollment, in terms of the number of kids that have had access to second cycle education as a result of the free SHS has increased over the period, okay, right? And so we can deal.
So I found the story I was looking for. Now, the Western Regional Chairman of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations, Daniel Vroom-Lai, has lamented the phrase that free SHS is becoming more expensive than we thought. He says the value of items parents need to acquire for their awards.
On front page of graphic today.
Before sending them to school is becoming a burden for many who cannot afford. Speaking with Insuraba Parkwesi Simpson, the host of Connect FM's Omamba Path Morning Show, Monday, January 15, he bemoaned government's reluctance in allowing parents to assist the schools despite the glaring challenges many of them are facing. His comments come on the back of many beneficiaries of free SHS who have not reported to school yet since reopening almost 2 weeks now. He noted there are many issues hampering the policy which have not come to bear. One, he says the reopening time of the schools was not favorable for both parents and the students. Cocoa farmers in the rural areas are complaining that they are little yield in the year, so they don't have money to take their children to school. They must fill their chop boxes. Some parents are even renting for their children to be in school. They must buy a lot of things for them to be in school. So all those who have not reported are due to financial issues. The free SHS is becoming more expensive than we thought. There are more hidden issues to the free senior high school than we have all been made to believe. He added that the decision not to allow parents to offer any assistance to the schools would be a bane on the policy, considering the challenges many of them have been subjected to as a result of lack of support. Quote, parents are now being prevented from helping the schools, but we must know that free SHS is meaningless without the support of parents. We even recorded over 21 pregnancies in one of the senior high schools last year because there was no wall on the school and the students were being snaked out. We are not being made to help. The government has stopped PTA from doing everything in the schools, and that is a problem. So she also raises the issue of financing. However, we all know that from 2021, parents and old students have been called upon to help, even in feeding students.
Yes. All over. Randy, you see, this story that you read, there's a bit of inconsistency in that.
Right.
You know, so it's a one breath, parents are being prevented from supporting the schools. In one breath, parents should be allowed to support the schools, but these same parents do not have the wherewithal to be able to support the schools. And then in another breath, there's challenges with individual students and all of this. And that's why I'm saying that we have to sit to it. You see, when you put everything together, when you like generalize the conversation, it's difficult for you and I, for example. So if you raise like a specific issue, like feed it, for example, and then we can interrogate the matter.
It's not. Yeah, I don't find it difficult.
No, but because you see,
because this clearly shows you that there indeed are people who cannot pay. And you need to have a system that focuses on them.
Yeah, but so
and deal with it.
I mean, in principle, we never.
Because no headmaster, no head of institution was sanctioned by the GES or the Ministry of Education for asking parents and all school students to provide for feeding. Nobody. No. Although
Randy,
the rules does not allow them to do that under the free SHS whatever. I said they are only
Randy. So I was making the point about, I mean, I think that we're coming back to this whole conversation around means testing, isn't it? Whereby we need to be able to find a way to means test and ensure, identify the most, who actually need it and all of those things, right? In principle, I will not have a challenge with that, right? But we can't also move away from the fact that the effect, the impact, or even the savings and how that supports parents. It's not something that we can take away from the whole process. And for every policy, I mean, when it comes to public policy and conversations around reviews, you can always do that. You can tweak, you can add certain things, you can go in there and find things that are working and improve them. Things that are not working, you can tweak it and all of those things. But as far as I'm concerned, in terms of our position as a government and as a political party, the free SHS is here to stay. The biggest conversation, I mean, the biggest elephant in the room is how do you find ways to ensure that you sustain it, it's sustainable, you are improving the quality of education, and making sure that every Ghanaian child, once they have the desire to go through secondary school education, gets an opportunity to do so. And let's deal with the issues. I have no challenge with dealing with the specific issues. And you see, I think that one of the things as well is even the, if you like, the schools itself, right? You know, we have class A schools, B and C and all of those. And you realize that most of the challenges would come from maybe the B or C schools when the class A schools, by virtue of where they are situated and the infrastructure and resources and even support of old school associations and all that, seem to be doing much better, right? So for me, I'm all for a certain democratization of the process, ensuring that every single school gets the same amount of support and resources. The ones that are lagging behind are given extra support, right? So that the kids will not be overly impacted negatively because of whatever means they find themselves in those schools. And I'm for that, right? But to lump everything together and make it look like there's everything wrong with this policy, for me, is where I have a challenge. Otherwise, you'll never be able to drill down to the specifics and deal with the challenges.
Right.
Now, Doc.
Yes, sir.
This whole concept of free SHS. Today, let me say this. If you read our Constitution, Article 25, 25(1), paragraph B, it has this to say: all persons shall have the right to equal educational opportunities and facilities, and with a view to achieving the full realization of that right, B, secondary education in its different forms, including technical and vocational education, shall be made generally available and accessible to all by every appropriate means, and in particular by the progressive introduction of free education. So the constitutional language speaks of progressive introduction of free SHS. Now, if you recall, the NDC government headed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he decided to build 200-day schools, 200-day schools, out of which he started 123, finished with 50 before leaving.
Roxanne, haven't we gone past
No.
stage?
You see, you must place the discussion in a certain context.
Yeah, I'm saying this because it appears that...
No,
yes.
hold on.
Yes.
So what is being termed as free SHS is actually not tuition fee.
Of course.
It's the
I mean,
feeding fee.
government pays teachers.
Yes, it's feeding fee.
Plus other, you see, there were other costs.
So I'll get there.
There were other costs.
I'll get there. That is why when you were...
you are claiming the free SHS too.
No, I'm saying it's a constitutional imperative.
Of course, but you never
exactly.
did it. You never
Who
did.
told
You
you?
had a different view
Oh,
on it.
it's not my different
view.
view.
You even had a position that
Oh.
in Kenya, in other parts of
can I
the
finish?
continent,
Can I finish?
we have
finish?
done that and it's become...
I'm speaking within the provision of the Constitution.
Exactly.
When we started the Fourth Republic, and J.J. Rawlings started, if you were a day student, you were not paying anything. You were not paying anything. I went to Maoli school. People, Maolians who were day students, you bath in the morning, you walk to come to school. After that, you went back home.
But day students are getting a meal at least a day.
No.
Today.
No.
Yes,
hold on.
part of the
hold on. So hold on and let me make the point. Now, you only made some payments like PTA fees and all those small bills. You paid monies when you were a boarder. So it was called feeding fee. Then Jerry Rawlings left. Secondary education continued under Kufuor, the same format. So the idea was that build more day schools to make the opportunity for secondary education more accessible to the people. You comes in to say that no, I want to lift the feeding fee. So you lifted the feeding fee. And to be borne by central government.
Not just feeding fee.
I am getting there.
You know, there's also the issue of the PTA element.
Yes, I'll get there.
And the fact that some students were also being denied access to education on the basis of their inability to pay some of those fees. That were not directly related to.
I will get there, Doc. So then you decided that you were lifting the feeding fee as a burden on parents to be borne by central government. In addition, what we called prospectus. You see, when you want to enter a school, they give you a whole list of things.
Yes.
If you are not able to meet all of them in the course of your stay in the school, you get them. So it got to a point, even in some schools, if you bring in a mattress, they won't allow you to take it away. All right? So that somebody else, when he comes and he has no such opportunity, the person can use the mattress. Some insisted will take their mattress away. So this government decided that all those accidental expenses will also be lifted. You also telling the PTAs, that is parent-teacher associations, that you were no longer going to allow teachers to be part. So they will be called PAs. The interventions that they were making, that a school, for instance, my school, Tongo Chanakwe, secondary school, can fall on the PTAs to make some interventions without recourse to GAS. And the parents will be willing to do it. You said they should no longer.
But that was compulsory.
Yes.
So that if you, Nelson,
yes,
you are in a position to pay.
Yes.
And I am not in a position to pay.
Yes.
Once the PTA levies it, if I'm unable to pay, my ward loses the opportunity to either access or continue with his education.
No.
And government, yes.
No.
It was
yes. If you, yes.
No. Let me explain. No. Let me explain. Let me explain.
Kids were denied access to school because some PTA levies had not been paid.
I agree.
Yes.
But they were not denied access to school. You were compelled.
Yes.
You were not dismissed.
Yes, but you can't.
But pressure. Class, you can't go. No, pressure will be brought to bear on you. Sometimes.
But why must that happen?
Yes. Yeah. So I agree that we are addressing that problem.
I mean, there were issues. The truth of the matter is that there were issues.
Yes, but
for which reason something had to be done.
Yes.
You know, that's why I said let's progress the issue.
Yes. So we are progressing the matter.
So now my only problem is that for the life of me, I don't understand how any educated, literate person would say that you have such a huge policy and we cannot have
a review,
a stakeholder forum to review it.
Yes.
when the policy has gone on for
hold on. Let me make my point.
When the thing has gone on for 5 years.
Yes.
For 5 years,
let me make my point.
All manner of issues. Yes, we have all manner of issues that have come up. Like I said, in the last 3 years, parents and all students have been called upon to provide feeding, which obviously tells you that there is a problem, a big defect.
Yes. So
we don't want to accept that. We need to look at it. And when you are being told today that over 137,000 people have not reported, and those in there, whether they are from GES or they are from PTAs or whatever, are telling you that it is financially related. The very bottleneck that the policy was supposed to, solve.
Now let me travel with my point. So in the course of implementing this new policy, there are problems emerging that are akin to those that were in the system in the past. What were they? In the old system, when you were admitted to, say, Infant Spim or Adisco or Augustins, and you come from Aburi, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. They will give you boarding status when you are placed in the school as a freshman, because you come from far.
But Roxanne, you see, because you have 500,000 kids going to school in the last 2-3 years.
You can never have a perfect.
Yes, exactly. But let me make the point.
But if you make it look like the issues are, so
can I
permeated to the point that that is not the case.
No, I listen to you carefully.
Yes.
Now you bring a child from Wa to Accra. And make him a day student.
It's a problem. It's a defect.
Good. It's one of the serious constraints facing parents.
Yes.
Because in addition to sorting out prospectus matters, he must now go and look for accommodation. All right.
It's a defect.
So it's one of the key problems. Yes. Then two, we have, as we speak, we have a director for MNE at the Ministry of Education. All right, that is monitoring and evaluation. What is he supposed to do? Is he not supposed to evaluate government policies being implemented by GES and the ministry? And in monitoring the implementation of the policies and evaluate them, you do a review. So you cannot say that when somebody says we should review the policy, it meant cancellation.
Okay, go ahead.
You understand? It meant cancellation. It cannot be.
We need to go.
The policy must necessarily be reviewed after 5 years of implementation.
We need to go. All right. Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining me. And up next, GMG Trends.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment, like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the He.
Right. Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana. Time to check out what is trending on social media with Desi, the star boy. Yes, Desi.
Boss, it's a season of white. We're preparing for Ghana's victory on Thursday.
Your what?
The white.
Oh, I just felt like we're wearing white this week. If it brings victory
on Thursday,
we will grab it with both hands.
That's where I wear white also. We'll do all white for Black Stars. Anyway, so let's begin with the trends on social media and on Twitter or X. As it's known now, Ekunfi is trending, and it's not because of the Jews. It's because of a statement made by the president, and a lot of people have been sharing their thoughts about it. That President, you know, first this one here. Where they say no kind of man can you. See, let's watch the video of what the president said that has got people talking.
Kakra, Atokujo. No, yeah, MP war. The man be a minister, or a deputy minister. They need to say when you say a namson, so no so be shall say BB. Amamo, a kumfi. Unquestionably, election for by a year in the free hall. Then you know, can't be like a crammet, you can miss me, Manika Crass of free. Man can't cry there. Yes, so mobile, Matilda Walker.
Well, it's good that we have an honest president. Because I say, man can't cry, and I'm people say, President, this one. Let's look at some of the comments on social media. Then I'll get Doc's reaction real quick, and then move on to some other things going on. So this tweet says that President Akufo-Addo, did you consciously choose to neglect the needs of a confused resident simply because they elected a non-MPP MP? This your leadership approach appears to be both reckless and petty. From Mr. Parkus writing that James McKeon says, what is the president's crime in admitting that he was not really paid, or he has not really paid attention to Kumfi, contrary to the people's expectation that the place is the hometown of the former president? How much attention did Professor Mills pay to his own hometown? That's from James McKeon writing that. Nana Kwame says, you voted out my party's MP, so I refuse to develop your constituency. How can the president say this, Doc? People are just opposing that with the Mepe incident and what he said there that be like the president, that be how they want to come.
But you want me to say something?
Oh,
Me.
This why they're alone is enough. Well, Charlie, president first. This one, the president. Man can hear. Anyway, moving on from that, right? The Black Stars will be playing on Thursday, and apparently some pastors talk say we will lose the match 2-1. And that same pastor says that we will lose against Egypt. But there's a God that we serve. There are prayers going on in Abidjan. And he played a video for me. Let's get into the prayer mood for the Black Stars.
Well, so Ghanaian supporters in La Côte d'Ivoire praying for the Black Stars. Lovely atmosphere here at the supporters base. In fact, the award this morning, and one name we mentioned a lot, Kudus. So look at them. The supporters are here praying.
All right, so that's a video of our supporters in Abidjan, early morning prayers for the Black Stars. Look, like before do the fasting song, help them. We could do prayers, evening service for the Black Stars, because our people have begun. Today, they don't come. But the Bible says, if you call unto my name, I'll hear you. So the Lord will hear us. But like the Pharaohs, they don't get God. Oh, okay, well, anyway. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So
we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. The prayers will work. The prayers will work. I want that to. I'm just making everything sure. You know, yesterday I was talking about the Kane University boy. Yeah, I got the video. So let's play that quickly, and then we wrap it up.
What boosted me to learn hard to gain admission at Kane University was what my teacher told me. He said that Kane University is having the best and a beautiful woman in the world. So I am intending to have a girlfriend in this week.
Was that a comedy show?
Orientation show.
Oh no, I'm sure it was a comedy show.
Orientation.
It was brought in to entertain the students.
He's a first year student. Orientation.
No, but do you see the straight face with which he said what
yes,
he said?
you know they laugh, like he makes serious. Charlie, they'll be like
and he has his hand behind his back.
Yes.
He has his hand at his back.
Yeah. And
look at his straight face.
Straight face. People are laughing, but he say, hey, I thought that was all. Then he said that I'll get a girlfriend before. Be like on that note, I'll go and do my master's and further. I need to
which school? Which secondary school they come from? Which secondary school?
I haven't found that.
The school.
Yeah. Oh. Be like my further studies, I will go KUS, we can go experience what they talk about. I don't know. So on that note,
you still need a girlfriend?
No, I didn't say no. I will go watch.
It's plenty girls. You still need more.
Like plenty female friends. That's what Doc means.
I'm capable of saying exactly what I want to say.
And that's since I wrap for today. I say a prayer for the Black Stars, like how our supporters are praying. I thought he said we were stranded. Anyway.
No, the guy played.
He never played that again. Yes. Okay, the KUST guy video. Please play one more time. Why?
That boosted me to learn hard to gain admission at Kane University was what my teacher told me. He said that Kane University is having the best and a beautiful woman in the world. So I am intending to have a girlfriend in this week. That boosted me to learn hard to gain admission at Kane University was what my teacher told me. He said that.
Yeah, the teacher, you know, you're curious for what student. Well, go to school, go and you. On that note, that's it for the trust today. My name is the Star Boy. I'll be back tomorrow as we pray for the Black Stars. I'll be dripped in white. Say prayer, and I think I'll get Ghana flag.
Okay, so one of our ardent viewers, Tafa, he has twin kids, Jamal and Jamila.
Okay.
And today is your birthday.
Oh, I like that.
So, yes, Tafa's children, Jamal and Jamila.
Jamal and Jamila.
Jamila. So, happy birthday to Jamal and Jamila as well. And yesterday was also the birthday of one of our ardent viewers, Nana Nketia. He turned 42 yesterday.
Nana Nketia.
Yes.
Big shouts.
He was 42 yesterday,
yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Look.
Right.
Today there's a no comment show.
That's why I think If you go and now, I've decided to be a bit more careful. As they grow, then
some things you
are not careful. You go and say something, they'll invite you to senior citizens meeting.
If the senior man is afraid, who am I?
I'm not prepared to go and stand and say, so let me just keep quiet. Silence is also an answer.
Yes, true.
So,
but today we'll explore more on our news.
How will we go do?
Yes, we'll go to a conference.
We have to tolerate for 11 more months. Then we'll be fine. Okay. Up next, Metro Sports.
Morning Ghana is brought to you by MTN.
The world has seen a lot of evolution in recent times. Global network facilitated by trade continues to grow stronger and